Hi guys and gals, Froggy here. This is a, excuse me. Hi guys and gals, Froggy here. A quick video on how you adjust your front ride height on a C5 Corvette. This is how Froggy does it. I put it up on ramps. You can see I'm already up on ramps. Get a bottle jack and a little piece of 2x4 to spread the pressure around and so you don't damage your spring. You want to jack up underneath the end of the front spring as far as you can get, as close as you can get to the end, like right there where I have it. Do not try to turn the adjuster without jacking it up. All you'll do is strip off the top of the adjuster. So jack it up until the wheel comes up off the ramp, and then I'm going to give you the wrench size on the adjuster, the socket size. I would use a small socket with a ratchet. It should not be hard to turn. You can put a little penetrating oil on it if you want to, and actually some guys have had trouble with the adjusters turning by themselves after they've been set. There is no lock nut on it or anything, so if it turns, I don't think it'll turn on you. I think these are guys that are full-time racing their cars. But if it did turn, you could put a couple of drops of blue Loctite on it. That's where I'd start, but I would not do that unless you find that you're losing your adjustment. So let me get the socket and the wrench. Okay, the adjuster is not going to show up on the camera here. It's right behind this piece of the lower control arm. I guess I can maybe stick the camera in there and show it to you. Hold on a second. There it is. Alright. Right there is the adjuster. On this one it's 10 millimeter. Could be different on yours, but I don't think so. It's probably 10 millimeter. Test fit the little socket on there before you assume, test fit it with by hand before you assume what size it is. Now we're going to raise the ride height, so we're going to go clockwise, and this is the little wrench that I'm going to use. You can see it's not, it's a 1/4 inch drive socket. So do not force this, because you'll just strip off that little top piece there. I'm going to need 2 hands, so I'm going to put the camera down for a second. Here's the wrench on the adjuster. I just took 20 swipes of the wrench. Now, I can't tell you how many threads to count or anything like that. You're going to have to measure your ride height after you take some turns on these. So I'm going to take 20 swings. I think you know what I mean by a swing, not a full rotation, just a swing with the ratchet. And then I'm going to do 20 on the other side, and then I'm going to roll the car down on the flat and measure the ride height. I'll show you how to do that. I let it down off the bottle jack, and my 20 swings got me about 1/4 of an inch. It went from 1/2 inch to 3/4. So I think I need a little bit more. So before I start on the other side, I'm going to give it, 10 more swings for a total of 30. I don't know if that's going to be enough. I really have to test drive it and put some witness tape on there and see if, I put that tape on there to see if I was rubbing, and you can see the marks on the tire where it rubbed. It just rubbed a tiny bit. It didn't get into the fender or anything, but I think I'm going to go 30 swings and see if I can get to like 7/8 of an inch. Almost there. Alright, so that was 30. I'm going to go like 35. I'm going to give it 5 more. That's going to give me 7/8 clearance instead of ½ inch. So almost 1 inch, 7/8, almost 1 inch. Okay, it's almost there. So 35 more, 35. Each time I'm doing this, I'm jacking the car up by the spring, and then I let it down before I measure it, and I actually bounce my butt on that fender and make sure that it's down all the way. So make sure you guys and gals are doing that each time. Alright, 5 more. There. Okay, that's 7/8, 35. On to the other side. Okay, so passenger side is up over an inch, almost 1 1/4 inches, a little more than 1 1/8 inches. And I'm not going to get into 16ths, but anyway, I think I'll drop this back down. I know this side was not rubbing and the driver's side was rubbing. So this side was a little bit higher to begin with. I'm going to bring this down to 1 inch. I think I'll bring the driver's side up to 1 inch. And then we'll start from there, and I'll show you how to measure the real ride height. This is just an approximation to the fender. Okay, I'm at 1 inch, so I'm going to go back to the driver's side and do 1 inch. Then I'm going to measure at the frame. Alright, driver's side, I raised it up some more. I'm going to call it good. It's actually went a little touch over 1 inch, but I know I'm going to have to adjust them more once I put it down on the ground. Because you don't want to measure to the fender. You can do that if you want to, fine, whatever. Fenders are not really what counts. It's the frame that counts. Okay? So Froggy told you. Okay, so people measure to a lot of different places on their Corvettes. Some people measure to the fender lip. Some measure to the tie-down places, which are underneath the rocker panel. I'm going to measure to the lower control arm, that round part of the lower control arm right there. I'm trying to give you as good a view as I can. This is the lower control arm. Oh, come on here, Froggy. There, you see that X there? I wrote an X on there. That's the lower control arm. That's the round part of the lower control arm right there where my light is shining. That's what I'm measuring to. And that's, I don't know if it's exactly where the factory service manual tells you to measure, but it doesn't really matter because you just want to measure one side to the other side at the same point of the suspension on both sides. So you pick two places the same, whether it's the two tie-down locations on the frame or whatever it is. So that's what I'm measuring to. Anyway, right there. And what I got on the driver's side, I got 3 15/16. On the passenger side, 3 and what did I write down there? 13/16. So I've got to go higher by 2/16 on the passenger side. Okay, so I'm going to go back up on my ramps and turn this probably about 6 turns. I'm taking a guess on that. So I got it. I just measured them both over again. Actually, to be clear, it's a 4 15/16. I forgot to add 1 inch for part of the tool I'm using. It's 1 inch there. So I've got both sides equal. I'm not doing the back right now. I haven't changed anything in the back. The only other thing I'm going to do is add a couple of more spacers on my shock travel to lessen my shock travel, because even though I've raised the ride height, which gives me more shock travel, still I was touching on this, so I want to get it up off of get it off the fender. So I hope that helps you out. I've also got to check my alignment now. I think my front toe has changed because of the ride height adjustment. I will confirm that for you, and I'll post it up on a separate video. And I'll explain why I'm doing the alignment adjustment. Should be just front alignment. Okay? See you later, guys and gals. Froggy out. Bye-bye. One last thing. I did measure the back of the car, the ride height, and to the same place, the bottom of the lower control arm, the round section where the bushing goes through, because you're going to be measuring equal spot to equal spot, front to back. I got a differentiation. These were my measurements: 6 and 3/16, 6 and 4/16, driver, passenger. So a difference of 2 and a quarter and 2 and 5/16, which is good enough for me. So that's like the rake on the car, and it's within a specification. This is the factory service manual. For Z06, those measurements at approximately those points, the specification calls for the rear higher by 55 millimeters, which is 2.165 inches, which is just under 2 and a quarter. Now I'm at 2 and a quarter, so I've got a little more rake, a little more than, but there's a plus or minus on this. For the factory service manual, they always give you, give or take a little bit. So I'm good on that anyway. Just thought I'd show you that.